UFC Nashville this weekend. Anthony Pettis moving up to 170 to take on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is the heavily favored fighter out of the two, both on the books, but if you take a look at a lot of fighters and their opinions on it, you can find a great video on YouTube that always shows all the opinions and predictions from UFC fighters. The majority of them are taking the side of Thompson. I think that's a great place to look at, because you're then looking at other fighters who train in the same sport. They know the game, they know these guys, they're involved. And I think taking predictions from people like that is a real valid way to look at it. If you look at the reasoning behind it, besides the fact of Pettis moving up a weight category, and quite a significant move up when you consider he's fought at 145, he's fought at 155, he's now making the 15-pound weight jump up to 170. He's truly now going beyond what I assume his natural frame and weight would be. This might just be a one-off fight. He might just be here to get a good fight. No one seems to want to fight Thompson at the moment. He has been the gatekeeper of the welterweight division for a really long time. Considering now that we have Kamaru Usman holding the throne, I think it's a really interesting time for this division. Everything's been massively shaken up by that win. You've also got the introduction of Ben Askren, Robbie Lawler returning in great fashion. You've got the Colby Covington situation. We spoke about this on my last video. So include Thompson in that mix. He's now really going to be looking to get back into that title contention. The draw and the loss to Tyron before that was kind of meaning that no matter what he was doing, he wasn't going to get a third shot at that guy. But a new title holder, a new shot, a new chance, who knows? So you can guarantee Wonderboy is now back on that path towards UFC gold. Pettis is, I guess, in a stage of reinvention after the Tony Ferguson fight, and he seems to be exploring options, maybe just looking to have a fight that he knows he's going to enjoy and get a lot from. You know, they both come from a traditional martial arts backgrounds, they're both terrific strikers, they know that they're going to go in there and it's going to be a great battle. I also give the edge to Wonderboy. Primarily, I think what it comes down to, you can get into all the statistics as much as you like, but the statistic really that counts for me, he has a small reach advantage. It's 2.5 inches according to the UFC statistics, and a 1.75 inch reach advantage in terms of his leg. Now, that's not anything dramatic or significant, but when you consider who's involved, Wonderboy has the best understanding and management of distance of any fighter I've ever seen in the UFC. And I think that's what it comes down to, is he can make someone miss by much smaller a margin than 2.5 inches. He can make you miss by a centimeter. He can make you miss by a millimeter if he wants to. And that's where he's so dangerous. His ability to make you think that you are in perfect range to hit him, or that you're in a safe space, and then out of nowhere, bang, the head kick comes, or the quick hands down through the middle. He's got fantastic footwork and the ability to cut and place angles. His hands are vastly underrated. I know his kicks are flashy and we all want to see the spinning kick knockout, but his ability to close distance, blitz in, work his hands, and then break off and move away is simply fascinating. So I think he's the favourite for a reason. I do think that he takes the win on the weekend. Also, a big shout to Curtis Blades and Justin Willis in the co-main event. I think that's going to be a great heavyweight contenders match. And the rest of the card, also a few great fights. Real shame the one fight that really came to mind for me is the flyweight bout. I'm going to really butcher his name and I apologize. Devison Figueiredo, currently holding a 15-0 record in a division that's kind of all but gone. Really interesting. We had the news come out this week, obviously, about TJ Dillashaw. And that was a really interesting bit of news in terms of him being flagged by USADA and having to, he would have had to give up the belt, but voluntarily giving up his belt and letting the division move forward. But obviously really interesting when you consider that USADA flag came up in the fight that he had against Henry Cejudo for the flyweight title. So that division continues to just be all up in the air, and who knows what's going to happen. But good to see that there's still a fight on the cards for these guys that are still in it. Really interesting when you consider the guy who loses that match probably loses his contract. So, you know, to go from 15-0 and then you might be 15-1 and you've lost your fight contract, that's the harsh reality of the game these days. So, great card. Looking forward to it, especially that main event. And let's see how it all plays out.